We had a Christian vegan who is very concerned with all the pain and the suffering in this world, asking us for some advice because they're getting overwhelmed by it. And we have to think about when we truly love God and the whole of his creation, we extend that because love includes compassion and empathy. And it's the empathy that we have that feels the pain and suffering. And we can't forget that it also has to include joy. It's feeling as the other person feels. It's feeling as the world feels. And at the same time, if we, all the suffering in the world and use the world as an example. But haven't you ever taken just a walk out in the woods or the park or wherever and seen, the snow hanging on an evergreen tree and blue sky, and it just makes a pretty picture, or wildflowers that are growing. I know different time of the year, but there's places that the wildflowers are growing now. So we have to think about that, and we look at those things and see the joy. Well, if we look at the suffering that's going on, there's also joy going on. And it's that combination of things that is that empathy. And if we only focus on the bad things, it can get overwhelming. And I know I've done the same thing. We have to look at the whole of the world. And when things get to be too much, just go for a walk and look at what's around you. I grant you that there are places, if you go, you're going to just see all the suffering around you. But we need to have another way of looking at this world around us and at the joy with people. I even tried to bring some joy of remembering somebody who died at a funeral. Because there's always something in a person's life that can be humorous. And you can tell it in such a way that becomes even more humorous. And you let people move out of their sadness into a little bit of joy. And it's that we want to remember. And if you've ever noticed, the joy of animals playing, and you know that those same animals are being slaughtered for food, that can be overwhelming if we forget about the joy of the way the animals like to be and the way God created them. So we need to have that empathy. We need to feel the pain, the suffering, and the joy when we're solving the problems. And if we lose sight of part of it, the other can become overwhelming, or it can be dismissive. If we only look at the joy, we can be dismissive of the evil. So we need to balance the way we look at this world and our empathy. We need to not forget that it includes the pain, the suffering, and the joy. And that won't be overwhelming. Amen.